Hi, my name is Nicola, and I'm here to do today's devotion. And I just want to talk to you about how the Psalms can be used as a training ground for learning to trust God. So during lockdown, I watched a movie called Evan Almighty, a really good movie. And in the midway, there's this scene where Evan's wife is really distressed. She thinks her family's falling apart. She thinks her husband might lose his job and maybe even his sanity. And she's talking to God. And God reminds her of a prayer that she'd made earlier in the year. And He asks her, so if you pray to learn to love your family better and for your family to be closer, would it be best if you were just zapped with warm, fuzzy feelings? Or would it be better if you were given the opportunity to practice learning to love better? And when God said that in the movie, I went, uh-oh, because I remembered that earlier this year, I'd spent a lot of time praying that I would learn to trust God wholeheartedly in really difficult situations. So sorry, guys, if I am solely responsible for the coronavirus outbreak, but I hope not. I think it was something to do with bats. But anyway, back to the idea of how do we trust God in really difficult circumstances. Our world has changed. So many things are uncertain. People are losing their jobs. Yeah, it is hard times. Well, one of the things that I've found that has really helped me my whole life has been reading the Psalms and learning to trust God along with David. So, David started life as a shepherd boy, and then later he becomes king of Israel. But there's some time there where he actually did nothing but hide in mountain caves. That's where he lived and where he stayed so that he wouldn't be killed. As his life was awful. So what did David do? Well, he spent a lot of that time just talking to God. He told God how afraid he was. He told God how sometimes he was so sick with worry. It felt like his body was falling apart. And he would cry out to God about his confusion and despair, about how the future didn't seem to be getting any better. But the thing is that if you keep reading the Psalms, you see this pattern emerging where, yes, on one hand, David is pouring his heart out to God, and on the other hand, you see him stopping and choosing to take his eyes off the circumstances, everything going on around him, which wasn't getting any better, and off his feelings about how overwhelmed he felt, and instead putting his focus back onto God and reminding himself of who God is and what He's like. And so David gives us these beautiful pictures of God being like a place of safety, God being his refuge, God being his strength. He talks about God being like, this is my favorite one, like God being like a tower that you can run into. Yep, like exercise and running. Trusting God is like exercise. Now, for most people, we won't be able to wake up in the morning and run a marathon without doing any training. Maybe if your name is Arnie, perhaps, but the rest of us mere mortals, it's really hard to start off with. So the thing is, though, the more we exercise and the more we trust God, the easier it gets. So the problem with me is that I'm quite stop start both at exercise and trusting God. So I'll be feeling quite good. I'll be trusting God. I'll be feeling loved, and then something will simply overwhelm me. Like something like, oh, I don't know, like we're all going to die of coronavirus. But the wake up call is when I feel I've lost my peace and my heart starts to get restless. And then I think, oh my goodness, I have stopped trusting God. I need to run back into that tower. And the thing is that every time I run back, it gets a bit easier. I run back sooner. And every time I do, my trust in God just gets that much deeper as I start to remind myself of His love and faithfulness. So I'd really like to encourage you to read the Psalms or keep reading the Psalms, to pray with David, maybe to take a verse and memorize it, something that comforts you, and to remind yourself of God's love and faithfulness. So I'd just like to for us to pray together the first part of Psalm 18. Father, we love you. Lord, you are our strength. The Lord is our rock. He is our fortress and our deliverer. Our God is our rock in whom we take refuge. We love you, Lord. Thank you. Amen. Thank you.